All righty, let's go. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to IQI Canada's Evening Talk. We're back with Ardi, and we're going to be talking about the Juwai IQI Agent Solution Packages today. How's it going, Ardi? How's
It
everything with
is
you?
going wonderfully, Dante. How are you? How was Nowruz?
Very, very good. Norris was amazing. We had a great celebration here, and I hope you guys did as well. I saw your musical.
Yes.
It was amazing. Beautiful voice, beautiful performance. If you guys
Oh,
haven't checked out
thank
Artie,
you.
he does amazing music. Make sure you do. And of course, that being said, let's jump into the topic of the day, and today we're going to be talking more into deeper into about like what the agent solution packages are. But if before we do jump into the everything in detail, I want to ask Artie, can you tell us a little bit more about what Juwai itself and is before we get into more detail of how IQI and Juwai like got into it together as well.
Sure, absolutely. So Juwai really started as a means to connect international home buyers and people who wanted to invest in properties outside of their own province or outside of their own country. Um, on a more global platform. So we basically formed the bridge for them to be able to do that. And that's really how Juwai got its name. Like Juwai is a Chinese word which translates loosely into home away from home or home abroad or home outside, however you want to put that. So that is essentially how we started. We're actually celebrating our 10th anniversary this year,
Boom.
sometime in June, I believe. So yeah, we're just about 10 years old. It's not that far away.
Wow, amazing. Like, and I mean, the name makes sense and it's super awesome that it's like also a decade that we've been around, wow, really, it's,
We're old.
it's,
We're getting old.
yeah, we're getting old. Okay. But that being said, of course, like, we were from IQI and now we are now Juwai IQI, so I want to talk about like, when this merger happened, and of course, tell us a little bit more about Juwai IQI in general.
Sure. So a bit about Juwai, which we already talked about. Now, IQI is a network of real estate agencies, predominantly in Southeast Asia, but we have spread across the world. And we're here in Canada, we're in the UK. We're not in the US yet. We need to look into getting up a branch there. But we operate in about 18 we operate in about 18 countries across the world now. We've got more than 15,000 agents under this global banner of IQI. And in 2019, IQI, being the physical hard property side of things, merged with Juwai, who then started to contribute the market research and the international listing portal side of things. So we essentially merged to become one of the largest and fastest growing prop tech companies out there.
Amazing, and that is basically putting two very important factors, together. So while you are on this ground on the site, and at the same time, while you are on the internet, you see like the demographic and personalities and the behaviors of every single one of these users, and you find out exactly what they want. And at the offline level, which is like agents in these 18 countries, and more increasing so fast,
Absolutely, yeah.
they actually see people and they have listings around and they have so much more details in there as well. So that being said, it's incredible to merge these two together and provide a holistic and one whole all round approach to everything that we have, because IQI provides like a holistic approach. So it goes
It
from
does.
like selling to ID to like concierge to every single thing that you would
Yep.
think a full on experience for like real estate. So putting it offline and online, wow, you
Absolutely, yeah.
cover everything.
Cover everything, leave no stone unturned. And
A
now,
hundred percent.
with everything we've done with over the years that we've grown, we can proudly say, we have about 5.5 million active users, not passive visitors, active users to the Juwai website every single month. We list in about 196 countries across the world. Most of our visitors are concentrated in about 111 of those countries. And our property value, a listing value of our properties on an annual basis reaches close to $4 trillion.
That's a lot. That is a lot. It's not like a small factor. And of course, Hardy, like we talked about, your awesome singing talent. Here is Yusuf, you got to do a Facebook Live now.
I look forward to it.
All righty. And of course, hello there, Yusuf and Richard as well. Hello, Richard. Good evening to you as well. And of course, our
Oh, it's
dear
Richard
Emerson.
here again. Hi, Richard.
Yes, it's Richard and Emerson too, our
Hey,
awesome,
Emerson.
awesome regulars that contact us on a daily time. Like, so that being said, Artie, there's a tsunami of like Chinese outbound investment coming in, and I want to really talk about like how that happened, and because we know it was a huge surge. So let's get
Yeah.
into detail on the numbers.
Sure. So, we started in 2000. We noticed it was in 2010 that there was this, not a mediocre sum by any means, but it was a pretty big sum of about 5 billion USD worth of inquiries outside from China, um, basically on a worldwide basis. And you jump to 2011, the very next year, and that 5 billion skyrockets for some reason to about 11 billion. That's more than 100%
That's huge.
increase. And then if you follow that pot from 2011 to 2018, that 11 billion has somehow magically turned into almost $230 billion.
Yes, wow.
So,
Like I don't even know how many percent. Okay, I'm not even gonna get into that, but that's huge. That is really, really huge.
So we've just been following the pot of money, and we're just wondering where the pot of gold, exactly, and we're keeping close tabs on where it's coming from, and more importantly where it's going, because if you want to find out where the money is going, you have to know where it's coming from, and more importantly where precisely these investors are looking to put all their
100%.
time and money and their energy.
Or you can just ask a leprechaun, but that's a different story.
That's a different story.
But also, already, I want to know, like, because I'm sure, like, a lot of agents would be asking about why should they be interested in these packages? What's so cool about these packages for them to jump
Right.
into?
So I guess it starts with, why do you need an international listing portal in the first place? Now, you have to remember that most of our investors are from China, and China has what we call the Great Firewall of China, in the sense that if they want to see these properties that are available from within China, they're unable to. Now, China has their own version of everything. They have their own version of Google and Facebook and what we would consider MLS and Realtor.ca. So anything that you list on these regular websites, Realtor.ca or MLS, they're not going to be able to see that. The only way they are able to is if they have a truly international, a truly worldwide international listing portal, and that is essentially where Juwai comes in. Now, if you compare us to the other international listing portals out there, if you do a quick search of Juwai on China's version of Google, which is called Baidu, we are the only one who consistently has been able to maintain a 5-star ranking. Everyone else has been 4 and below. Our market outreach is second to none. It's probably easier to tell you who has not covered us in terms of media. It's probably easier to tell you what language we are not, promoting ourselves in. And I think one of the highlights of working with us is that we've really been able to enlist the trust of our Asian investor community.
100%. We even have a spot on the website which is called Juwai Recommendations, and people really do pay attention to those, and that's incredible. Like, and not only that, like, what we usually do is, like, in IQI and Juwai, like, or at the moment Juwai IQI, is that we basically want to cover every single detailed pointer, so we don't put anything uncovered. So in our Hong Kong side, we also take care of the social media in the Western side of things as well, and in every other country, and including our HQ here. We do really put attention to not only just be in China, but also all around the world. And we have users tuning in from 198 countries, as you mentioned before, as well.
Yep.
So that being said, can we get a little bit more into the numbers and details on these packages?
Sure, absolutely. So we've realized over the years that Canada has ranked about number 4 in the level of interest from China in regard to international investment. And it's not a bad number, but we still have a little bit of work to do, but baby steps. And
it's in the top 20. That's the most important part.
Exactly, yeah. And just in 2018, we noticed an outbound investment inquiry from China and the greater ASEAN to Canada to the tune of about $1.31 billion. And and when you break that figure down, about 786 million, that's close to 75% of that,
Yeah.
was directed just towards the province of Ontario. And then breaking that down, 586 million towards just one city, just towards Toronto. So the cool thing about Juwai is that, as we said earlier, it's not just your international listing platform. It's also a market research tool and a marketer in its own right. So we're not only able to tell you where the money is coming from, but more importantly, where is it going? Where do these guys want to spend their time, their money, and their interest? What is the hotspot?
Exactly. Essentially, we've got the analytics and everything for, every single user and demographic that we have out there. And it as I said before, it kind of feels like the Google of prosperity, like a focused niche factor of Google, which is only prosperity out there. And that's why we have recommendations and top 10s and things like that for developers, and a developer solution package which we're going to talk about maybe next week.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you guys know developers that they really do need this, in terms of getting some more investment, things like that, jump into our next week's, program as well, so you can have a listen at what we offer for the developer solution as well. So that being said, now, what type of packages does, Juwai currently offer?
So we currently often offer about 3 to 4 different types. For example, I'll just give you the Asia Pro 100. Now that allows you, for example, to list up to 100 different listings for the period of 1 calendar year. And it is relatively good value for money. That's one of the other things we pride ourselves on, the amount of value we're able to give you. But we did realize that, with all these packages, being able to list 50 or 100 or 300, they're great packages. And yes, they are great value for money. But then we needed to sort of come up with a solution for an individual agent. Now, these packages that I've just mentioned are great, but it's not really realistic for one agent to have the ability to list 50 or 100 or 300 properties. I mean, which agent has that in any one calendar year, right? So it makes more sense to, if you have a large group of agents or a team of agents that you're managing, or even if you want to spread this one package across an agency, then yeah, that makes sense. But as I said, we needed to find something to tailor the needs of an individual agent. So we came up with the Asia Pro 10, which is, the package of the day. That's what we really want to talk about today. So that package essentially allows you up to 10 active listings for any given calendar year for a period of 365 days. And it does as well. Now, the common factors between all these packages would be things like your 2 standard floor plans, your 20 pictures per listing, your 150 words per listing, your agent profile page, your company profile page. As I said, one of the things we pride ourselves on is our marketing ability, right? So we don't want you to just list, right? You can do that very easily on Kijiji, but what we do want is for you to create a name for yourself, a global name for yourself, so that these investors outside of Canada know who you are and know you are the one to go to if they want to invest in Canada, which they clearly do, right? So we give you access to things like marketing tools, market research reports, things like banners or pop-up features or anything that makes you and your properties and your agent profile page and your company profile page stand out. That is exactly what we want. We want you to become not just a local agent, but a global agent.
Exactly. I could totally agree with you. And that is what we essentially do. And that is what we actually look for, which is branding and also creating value. And in Juwai IQI, the most important part that we usually pride ourselves, like Artie said, is that we don't just market for the sake of marketing or getting that product out or shoving that product down people's throats. It basically is value creation. That is most important part. It is our motto. We actually say we want to create value. Our marketing team's value, motto is basically we want to create value. It's not just marketing. It's just giving people what is good. And we know that a good product will market itself. So that's
Absolutely.
very important. And of course, as we always say as well, in Juwai IQI, we want to create real estate entrepreneurs. We're not looking to just give you listings, or we're giving you tools for you to be able to, become a real estate entrepreneur. And I've seen so many of these people that have come into either IQI or taken Juwai IQI packages, that have, really changed and switched around their life, from one thing to another. And, the success stories are amazing.
They are.
Thanks to our production team, we have a lot of those videos. If you guys want to go check out the, IQI YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of those success stories out there, like people talking about what happened in their stories. So if you do want to get those packages, you know who to contact. And if you want to join IQI Canada, again, there's all the information right there. Make sure you do get in touch, and Artie is right there, and he can let you know what you need to do. That being said, of course. And that being said, one of the most important questions I think that a lot of people do ask is that, okay, so these are outbound investments from China. What if, the person that is in China doesn't really speak in English, and, there's going to be a language barrier from any other part of the world if they get into touch. So do you have any solutions for that matter as well?
Yes, beginner's Chinese textbook would probably serve you wonders. No, I'm totally joking. So one of our promises to you is that you will never experience this language barrier, because what happens is that when you list your own property as an agent into Juwai, you will, obviously list in English, but in our back office, there is a very human, very real life translator and copywriter who works around the clock to make sure that your English data is translated not only, to properly list your company, your project, but also in a way that is appealing and marketable to the Chinese investors, because the things like cultural barriers and language, the cultural linguistics, they will creep up, and we just want to make sure that it is displayed in a way that is appealing and understandable, and we do a really, really great job of that.
100%. I mean, we do have a very, very strong marketing team on every side of the country that we are in. From our HQ to the people in July, and IQI and everything. It's very, 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 very strong marketing team. Some of them are in TED Talks. Gonna mention them later.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll bring them in the show soon. If you're watching, you know who I'm talking about. Okay. So that
And it
being said,
completely works in reverse as well. So, when the investor wants to get in touch with the agent saying, I'm interested in this property, can you send me more? That translation, that message will be translated from Chinese or Mandarin, whatever their native language is, into English for you to, be able to fully understand. And you get these messages through WeChat, which is essentially China's version of WhatsApp. And I do want to stress, which I didn't get a chance to before, that all these leads who contact you, Juwai filters the cold from the hot. We only provide you with the hottest leads. We make sure that these guys are, they really do form the demand for these properties. They're ready, they're willing, they're able to pay for these properties. They really are interested. We're not going to waste your time with a list of 1,000 different people on an Excel sheet. We know the time is money in the real estate world. We are only about giving you those who are truly interested and ready and able to invest in those properties that you've listed.
Time is money.
Time is money, exactly.
Because we find a lot of our agents who tend to be frustrated with leads that they get, cold leads that they get,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
takes a while, and then right. Okay, so don't worry about it. We basically give you the hottest leads out of the oven. So it's everybody likes hot cookies, and we do provide hot cookies. That being said, Artie, first off, I want to thank you so much for joining us once again and telling us so much awesome stuff about the agent solution packages. But before we end this, I want you to tell our audience how they can contact you, whether they want to get the packages, whether they want to join into becoming a realtor with IQI Canada or any of our other that we have around the world. So do let us know.
Absolutely. So if you want to just join IQI or find out a little more about us, we're available at 905-564-0188. You can check out our website, iqiglobal.com or iqicanada.com. And if you want to know more about Juwai specifically, the email address is ardavan@juwaiiqi.com. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Artie. That's very sweet of you. And I'm sure everybody's going to be like, coming in and messaging you. And of course, Richard Gear says, thank you
Thank
guys as
you,
well.
Richard.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard, for joining us. And that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's show. Once again, from us here, Dante and Artie, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for listening to us yammering. With that being said, once again, to all of our Persian friends celebrating Nowruz, Nowruzatun Mubarak, Nowruzatun Piruz, and to everyone around the world, a very, very happy spring. I hope the cold all around the world starts, melting and everyone gets into positivity and some sun coming in. Of course, around the world on our side, it's always sunny. So, that being said, thank you so much again and hope to see you guys very soon. Artie, it's been a pleasure once again and see you very soon as well.
Thank you very much, Dante. Always fun.
Always a fun.
Bye.
Bye bye.